Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of 5 Minutes in Coffee. It has been a while, so I'm very grateful to be speaking with you again and discussing God's words. There are so many changes that have occurred in my personal life, and I must say, God is still blessing me, and I know that He will bless you and that He loves you. So, the title of today's discussion is Are You Going to Heaven? Oftentimes, if you've been to any church service for any length of time, the question will come up, are you going to heaven? Sometimes the speaker may even say, with a show of hands, raise your hand if you're going to heaven. And this is a question that I've often struggled with simply because I want to go to heaven and I have a desire to do what God says, but I know the thoughts that are in my head. I know the flaws that I have. So I've often struggled with this question, am I going to heaven? So during a in-depth study of the book of Romans, I've realized I've interpreted this question wrong far too many times. The question should not be, are you going to heaven? The question should be, are you doing what God commands so that you can go to heaven by the blood and sacrifice of Jesus Christ? So what is the difference? When I initially heard, am I going to heaven? What I was hearing is Jerry good enough to get himself into heaven? And that answer is always going to be no, because I am very much imperfect. If you've been around me for any length of time, you will see my imperfections at some point. However, when the question is, are you obeying God and doing the things that He says so that Christ can pay your way into heaven? Well, that's a different discussion. When Christ sacrificed Himself, He did that so that you would have an opportunity to go to heaven. Essentially, Jesus said, I am going to take care of the things that prohibit you from coming into heaven, but you must abide by that which I ask you to do. And when I look at it from that perspective, the Bible says God's words will not return unto Him void. So I know that when I am reading the Bible, what God tells me, I can hold Him to it because His words won't return to Him void. God is not a man that He should lie. So if I am doing what God commands, I am loving Him with all my heart, all my soul, and all my might. I am loving my neighbor as myself. I am doing the things He commands, and I believe that the sacrifice of Christ is true and it is right, and that I am redeemed not because I am perfect, but because Christ has purchased me with His blood, that I am going to heaven. So when I ask you, are you going to heaven? The question is, are you living a lifestyle that says that you are going to heaven? Is your relationship with Christ appropriate that says that you are going to heaven? And if you cannot answer these questions with yes, take care of that today because tomorrow is not promised. This is Jerry with 5 Minutes in Coffee. Thank you for listening to this episode of 5 Minutes in Coffee by Jerry Breville. If you have enjoyed this episode, then I ask you to share it with just one person, and also please consider making a donation that goes directly to the growth of 5 Minutes in Coffee so that we can share God's words together. This is Jerry with 5 Minutes in Coffee.